All right, welcome back to Dad's Honest Hauls. Today we are going to be cooking a flank steak. So I am not a professional chef, but I have been cooking this flank steak for about 10 years now. It's absolutely incredible. So let's go ahead and dive in. First things first, I have got my grill preheating. You want to get that over 400 degrees. And then most importantly, I have had my flank steak here marinating for the last 12 hours. Let me show you how this thing looks in the marinade before I throw it on the grill. So we've got the flank steak in the marinade here. As I mentioned, it's been marinating for about 12 hours. Ideally, the longer, the better. You can marinate this steak as long as you want, over 24 hours, and it's just going to be even juicier, even better. I will put the link to this marinade in the description. It is a absolutely fantastic one. All right, we're getting ready to toss this thing on the grill. And one thing to note, flank steaks cook really, really quickly. I do, on average, about 4 minutes per pound. This one right here is a little over a pound and a half. So I'm going to go right around 7 minutes. Goal is to get that thing a beautiful medium rare. So let's go ahead and throw this thing on the grill. My grill is just under 450. You want to make sure that you got it really, really hot above 400 so that you get a nice good sear. We're just going to take this thing, toss it right on the grill, and close it right back up. We're going to go 3 minutes on the first side, and then we'll flip it for about 3.5 on the other. So let's go ahead and check back on the steak here in a minute. While we've got our steak cooking, let's talk a little bit about this marinade. So one thing that we love to do is we'll actually save this marinade. So when the steak is done and we're going to go to eat it, we will dip it in the marinade. Absolutely incredible. We'll put a disclaimer out there. You should heat the marinade up a little bit because obviously you just had raw steak in there. But I'll keep it quiet. I do just dip it in there without heating it up. It tastes absolutely amazing. But heat it up if you are worried about the raw steak. So save the marinade, and we'll come back to that once we cut up the steak and give it a try. While we're still cooking here, let's also talk about what you want to do after you take it off the grill. You want to let it rest for several minutes. And bonus points if you can let it rest raised up off of the cutting board. If you place the steak straight on the cutting board, it will continue to cook. So you want to place something on your cutting board that can allow you to have a little bit of air underneath the steak so that it cools off a little bit, doesn't overcook. And soaks that flavor in. So we've got our cutting board right here, and then I've got a little grate that I will place the steak on once it's done cooking. Okay, so we are just about 3 minutes in, so I'm going to go ahead and open this thing up and give it a nice flip. Should have a really nice sear on that downside of the steak that you just cooked. So we'll leave the other side cook again. About 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes here. Close it up, and then we'll be taking this thing off the grill. Again, always want to keep your grill above 400. Let's take a quick look at this thing. Looking good. Let's get her finished up. Okay, so time is up. We are right at about 7 minutes on this thing. We're going to take her off and let her rest. Boom. All right. This is what we're working with right now. Letting her rest for a few minutes. You want to let her rest for 4 or 5 minutes. Not enough to cool off completely. I still like my steak warm when I eat it, but you do want to give it a chance to let those juices soak up, stay in that meat. So we'll let it rest, and then we'll give it a cut. All right, so we are ready to cut this thing. One of the biggest things you want to make sure to do is cut against the grain. So as you can see with this flank steak, the grains are going this way. So we are going to cut this way in strips. So you just want to give it a nice hold, and then we are going to go strip by strip. It's the best way to cut a flank steak. And of course, the moment of truth here. Let's see how we did on the temperature. Oh yeah, good medium rare there. So really simple. You just want to cut it in strips. And then as I showed you earlier, you can dip it in that marinade. Some great flavor. Again, we'll have the marinade in the description. And man, we got some even more rare pieces down here on this thick end. This is good, good, good. All right, so check that out. All right, moment of truth. Let's give it a test here. That's a good flank steak. Try it. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video.